Okay, so since this meetup is all about building interactive code and sharing interactive portable code, I wanted to the introduce and cover the Python package Streamlit, which on their website and all their marketing they say is the fastest way to build and share data apps. And I think in my experience that's definitely the case. What we're going to do today in 10 minutes is go from a working Python script, build a web app all in Python, and post it live on the cloud for anyone to use. So we have a lot to do in 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and start working. So the script I'm going to use comes from the last year's Transform conference. Matt and Brendan did really good tutorial called Idea to MVP, where they said, hey, we're a startup. Our idea is to build an app that can predict or interpret what type of fossil is in a picture. This is our idea. Let's go all the way from data analysis, train the model, make an app online. So what I'm going to do is start kind of in the middle of where they did. So once they got their model, they went and made Flask APIs and live apps and kind of down that route. What I'm going to do is start with their model and build a Streamlit app in a different way. So this is really great way to get an MVP going or to share interactive code with colleagues or customers or managers to interact with. So having said all of that, the script, what you need to know about the script is here we load the random forest model. So this is the machine learning model that's already been trained. We pass it a URL of an image. So this image happens to be an image of a trilobite fossil. Okay, then we get the image from the URL and then we make the prediction. So let's see what happens if we run this here. Python Streamlit predict.py. So what we get from this script is a prediction. We say we predict it's a trilobite, and we have a probability of about 54% that that's a trilobite. And we can look at the URL, the image URL, we can load that up, and there, sure enough, that's a trilobite. So this is working really well, apparently. So now let's see what do we need to do to make this into a live app. So first thing, import Streamlit. It's Python package, import Streamlit as st, so I would do it and save it. Okay, so now once we save it, and I'm also going to delete these prints because we're not going to need them anymore. Save that, and then Streamlit run, Streamlit predict.py. Alright, so what this is doing is spinning up a local web server, and the app is running on this web server just right here on my computer for now. And so this is a blank web page. So I'm going to make changes to this file, and as I do it, just simply by writing Python commands. So I don't need to know anything about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or even callbacks to make this app kind of look really nice. So start by putting a title in and call the title FossilNet because we're using the FossilNet. And you notice up here source file change. So this app over here, it's watching this file. Whenever I save it, well, that's spelled wrong, so let's do title. Whenever I save it, it notices, and I'm going to click always rerun, so then the title gets put in here. Okay, now what do we want to do? That's nice. We're going to start adding some interactivity. So Streamlit has all kind of widgets. There's a bunch of widgets. You can actually see them on here or go to read the documentation, but I'm going to add a text area, text input actually, to let us get input from our user, and that is going to be called image URL. So our users know to paste the URL in there. Then I'm going to add a little bit of control in here to make sure we're not actually doing anything unless we give it a URL. So we're not going to run these unless URL is equal to something. Okay, that gave me an error. What did I do here? Oh, I have these quotes outside the comment. Save that. And so now we have the image URL. So let's just paste this in there. Grab that as copy and paste. Okay. Now what can we do with that? It's in there. Let's display our image. So we can display image with st.image. Save it, and so that should load our image and we get a nice picture of trilobite. Alright, now let's tell our users what our prediction is. Streamlit can render Markdown, which is really nice for getting formatted text into your app. So I'm going to use Markdown fstring and grab the prediction out of our result, and that prediction was called class. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to tell it what the probability is. So P equals result prob. And then I'm going to make it look a little nicer, round it to 2 decimal places. Let's see if I did that right. No, I didn't, so there's an error here. What's the error? Oh, yeah, I need to do double quotes in this part of it. Alright, so now we say this is a trilobite, probability of 54%. And then below the image, let's just give it a little bit more information. st.write can write pretty much anything you give it, and it will just find the right way to display it. So we'll just pass it that dictionary, and that will display it on the screen for the user to get a little bit more information about what's going on with the prediction. All right, now let's test it out. Let me test it out with a 4am. So let's just look for an image on the internet. This one looks good. So copy image location. And where's my app here? Paste. Okay, 88% probability that that's a 4am. Okay, so it looks like our app's working. We get all this information here. Now let's put it on the cloud. How are we going to do that? Okay, so like I said before, if you want to do this, all you need to know is how to write Python script, and you need to know a little bit about version control. So right now, I'm just updating my GitHub repo with the changes that I made. So now my repo online has the same changes I made here locally, which is important because all Streamlit sharing, which is in addition onto Streamlit, all they need to host the app is they read straight from the GitHub. So I give it my repository name, the branch name, and then I write the path to the file, which is called Streamlit and predict.py. So this is the path relative to the root of that repository, pi. Click deploy. Alright, so now what it's doing, it says our app's in the oven, and what that means is it's building up our environment. So I didn't mention this before, but I have created this requirements.txt that the Streamlit sharing platform is using to build this environment right now. You'll see it, there it goes, like installing NumPy. It's still in the oven, so it should be done any minute now. There we go, so it's just about done. There's the balloons, that means it worked, and now we have our image URL here. I'll just paste that same one in from the 4am, see if it works. There we go. And this is running live on the cloud from Streamlit sharing, so anyone can access this right now. I'll paste a link in the Slack. People can play around with it and see how it goes, but to me this is an absolutely amazing piece of software that can be used for so many different things. It only took us less than 10 minutes to go straight from Python script to this totally interactive app with interactive running on the cloud, hosted, publicly available, and anyone can use it. And we didn't have to know anything. We didn't have to know JavaScript's great, but we didn't have to know any of it. We didn't have to know CSS, HTML, or even any type of callbacks to get this to work. So that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for listening, and happy to chat about more about Streamlit.